So the All Blacks have just announced their team that will be taking on Namibia. Quite a few changes from what we did see in the opener up against France. Still looking like a very solid team. Should definitely be able to get the job done. We will start with the front row. It will be number 1, Ofa Tuangafasi. Number 2, Samasoni Taukiaho. And then number 3, they have actually stuck with Nepo Lolala. So he is the only player in the front row who keeps their spot from the game up against France. And I'm interested to see how the scrummaging goes. It should be relatively dominant for the All Blacks up against Namibia. Whether or not this is a front row that they do go with in the future, we will have to wait for those future games. In the lock and duo, a lot of experience in this department. Number 4, Brodie Retallick, and number 5, Sam Whitelock. Now, Retallick, he came off the bench in the last game up against France. That was due to the late injury of Sam Cane. It was a question mark whether or not Retallick was 100%. He looked pretty decent off the bench. So now, getting himself the start, and of course Sam Whitelock, he played 4 last week, now moves back to 5, which I believe is his favoured position. Looking at the loose forward trio, number 6, Luke Jacobson, number 7, Dalton Papali'i, and number 8, Ardie Savia. Now this is probably the combination that they should have gone with last week with the late injury of Sam Cane, but instead given Tupavai the chance at number 6, man who hadn't really played a huge amount at blindside flanker throughout the last little while, but Jacobson, we know he can play all 3 positions. Be looking to get himself a good showing here, definitely with Ethan Blackadder just around the corner. Number 9, it will be a start for Cam Roigard, a man who didn't feature in the game up against France, but a lot of people still remember that brilliant try he got off the bench up against the Springboks. That was the lone AB's try from that match, and Roigard, he offers a lot of X factor. We've seen him do it for the Hurricanes throughout Super Rugby Pacific, now trying to translate that to international level. Number 10, they have gone with Damian McKenzie, so I believe this is his first start since maybe that second Bledisloe Cup match up against the Australians. So it's been quite some time, and I think that's the first time he's been in the lineup since that game as well, because normally when they have Richie Mo'unga at 10, McKenzie is nowhere to be seen. But in this case, gets himself that fly half spot. Out on the left wing, they have gone with Lester Faina Nuku in the centre combination. It will be David Havili at number 12, and Anton Leonard-Brown at number 13. Now, a lot of people feel that they might be playing for the same position, both trying to get that number 12 jersey, but in this case, actually working together as a cohesive unit. In the midfield, number 14, I've gone with Caleb Clark, man who hasn't played a lot of 14 in the last little while, but with Lester out on the one wing, Caleb Clark out on the other. The All Blacks, if they can feed it wide, they'll certainly be able to use that power to their advantage. And then number 15, to close out the starting lineup for the All Blacks, it is Beauden Barrett. But now looking through at the reserves, number 16, Dane Coles, number 17, Ethan de Groot, and number 18, Fletcher Knowles. So a bit of strong scrummaging off the bench later on in the game, and also a little bit of feistiness from number 16, Dane Coles. But by that stage of the match, if the Namibia-Italy game is anything to go by, that may be when the Namibians start to tire, and maybe the rolling maul of the All Blacks starts to get a lot more success. Number 19, it is Scott Barrett, so still in the side, just coming off the bench for this game instead of starting. And number 20, they have gone with Tupavai. Number 21, Aaron Smith. So actually completely leaving Finlay Christie out of the side for the All Blacks there. I'm wondering whether that is based off recent form, or maybe the fact that they're going to be starting him for another game very soon. Number 22, it is Richie Mo'unga. And then number 23, to close out this All Blacks side, it will be Rieko Ioane. So they've got the option of bringing him on as a centre, maybe even off the wing. The All Blacks, they've got about 3 or 4 players in that back line that can actually play a secondary position in the starting 15 if they need it. So versatility, probably the word of the day for the All Blacks when it comes to this back line. But nonetheless, this game is going to be taking place at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning New Zealand time. We will be up doing the live commentary for the contest, so be sure to check that out as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.